It's a little bizarre, but I think it's better that you don't have it through two screens. Oh, good. Betty, are we good to go? Are you there, Betty? You're on mute. There she is.
I am here. Give me just a minute to check the YouTube feed and I'll be able to tell you.
Okay. Thanks, Betty.
Welcome.
Yes. Well, the audio is on, so we're about to start. Thank you. Okay. Betty, are we good?
I'm trying to find our YouTube feed. Give me
Okay.
just a second.
No rush. I saw the live pop up and I wanted to make sure if I didn't miss it or not.
Stop it. It says it's live. Can we stop this and over? Can you hear me okay, Commissioner Price?
You're a little bit faint. Slight echo.
There's an echo.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
Oh, no. Okay.
Can you hear me okay, Commissioner Price?
Yes, I can.
Okay, will you speak and see if they can hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Do you want to speak yours on then?
Yeah.
I speak loud. I don't need to have the microphone.
Okay, I believe we are live.
Good. Okay. Welcome to everyone who is attending our commission meeting. We have several that are have a virtual presence and some folks that are here in person. Welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your Friday night. And we will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have some folks with
You might have to speak up a little bit.
what newly elected State Rep Keith Brooks. Would you be willing to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And to our first item of business. Now, I do see that Betty sent minutes of a meeting late this afternoon. I have not had a chance to review them. Commissioner Stark, have you had a chance to review these?
I have not.
Okay. Commissioner Price, have you?
I have not.
Okay. I would suggest, since none of us have had a chance to look at the meeting minutes, and we will meet one last time as a body before we swear in commissioners for the next term, that we take care of this at our last scheduled meeting as a body before the new commissioners, the new commission is sworn in, and so we'll just take one bit of information and clean up on right before we swear in officers. Would that be amenable to the other commissioners?
Yes.
Price, you're on mute.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's, since we haven't had, none of us have had time to review, let's go ahead and postpone that until our very last, well, soon last meeting, the next meeting is the last meeting as this current body before we swear in for the new term. Then that goes into our item of business.
Can everyone hear, Chair, Madam Chair Gomez, okay?
Is the audio okay? Bryce, can you hear me?
Yes, when you speak up a little bit, I can hear you better, but yes,
Sure.
I can hear you
I have no problem talking loud. I can do that. Is this better?
better. Thank
Oh,
you.
Sure. Okay, so then everyone's okay with taking care of the minutes at the next meeting. If there's a motion to do that, I'm happy to entertain that at this time.
I make a motion to review the meeting minutes at the next meeting that's scheduled February 5th, 2021.
Second.
We don't need a second.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. And we do have business, but before we get into that, Commissioner Starr, I believe I contacted you to set our meeting to swear in our new board. And that would be a good date. And I thought
It's the 5th.
it's not the 12th.
It's
This
the
is week
5th.
before. It's the 5th, and that's a Friday. Is that correct?
Yes,
Friday, is it 5 or 5:30? Just to make sure we have this clear.
it is.
I think I reserved it for 5.
It's at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. on the 5th. Okay.
I will say I have not received my packet from the county clerk's office yet.
Okay.
Um,
You can inquire about
I have
that.
not. As our election was for the Democratic Party of Pulaski County was online, so we did not close the election until Wednesday afternoon. So I definitely don't have my packet yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so at
Well, we'll keep track of that, and if you don't have the necessary materials to be sworn in, if there's an issue with that, we may have to move that in the future, but let's try for the 5th.
actually, Sean, if you could please contact the county clerk's office, because I have not received my packet yet. And it's been over a week and a day.
Is it 10 days or is it a short time frame?
It's only within 30 days I can be sworn in, and I haven't received a packet yet.
I mean, that's really between you and the clerk. I don't have anything to do with that.
Okay, so this, okay. Commissioner Starr, would you like to spearhead that with the clerk's office?
I will.
Thank you.
Again.
I appreciate that. And if we need to, get other people involved, I'm sure I'll let you take the reins on that. Okay, so our next meeting is set. That's going to plan to swear in officers and then finish up anything that's not finished by then. So that moves into the business portion of our meeting.
Remember to speak up
Yes, can you hear? Is that better?
Yeah.
We're moving into business.
since you're not on
Yes.
the.
That's right. 'Cause I don't have the microphone. It was brought to my attention that there was a problem in Ferndale with some materials that were, voting materials that were not collected from the November 2020 election. I've attempted to get some clarification as to what exactly occurred. I have not received a lot of information on that. I had somebody call me and tell me what happened, and that person was not a staff member of the commission, so I was a little concerned that you didn't hear about it from staff. But apparently there's an issue in Ferndale, and some election materials were not collected. So there's some, I personally have some concerns about that. But before we move on any further, do any of the commissioners present have any additional information? Because I, quite frankly, was unable to ascertain a lot of information from the staff.
I haven't been able to obtain very much information. I want to make a note that I have not spoken to any commissioners. I've had to go around everyone to get this information back to the commissioner in an indirect way so that we could set up a meeting. I do know this is I believe this is precinct 59 for District 31 for the House. And that was the only House race we had on there. The CA Vine Center, I believe that's correct, 4-H. Was contacted by a coworker that had seen the materials at the polling site. I have a photo. I just sent it to Betty to post on the screen, please. And I contacted, did not have Sean's phone number. I contacted Amanda Dickens since she is in charge of equipment, and asked her to let me know what's going on. I also contacted Jody and asked him for Sean's number, and let me know as soon as they're able to retrieve it. I asked her, she said Bart was going to pick it up. Bart is normally picks up and takes equipment to and from.
He's in charge of the equipment.
Correct. And I asked him, I sent another text to Amanda last night to verify, to let me know when that was done, because I want to make sure that we're following exactly what's there, what's at that polling site, what came back, because we want to make sure, that we're keeping the chain of custody intact. I texted her again, and this morning she let me know that Bart did confirm that he picked it up. Then I spoke with the person that was watching the events unfold, and it was not Bart that picked it up. So a little confused by who picked that up. I contacted Amanda just for her to find out exactly who picked it up. Then Amanda told me that she was not allowed to speak with me, that if I had any questions regarding election, anything, I must talk to Sean. That's all I have.
Is Amanda also not allowed to speak to me? Is that why she did not, do you think that's why she did not respond to my email?
Most likely. So if we could put the photo up on the screen so we can look at this, because the questions I have is for what all the materials are, what was, because from my understanding, everything was checked off the checklist, that everything had been returned for all sites. There is a bag with zip ties on it that are enclosed. There is a ballot box. There is of course, the machine, looks like the scanner. So I just kind of want to go over all the pieces that were picked up last night, what was in there. So who could answer those questions?
Commissioner Starr, I am having trouble getting that on the screen because you text that to my phone. So I'm trying to get it out of text message to my computer.
I'll send it to you via
Text it to
email.
There you go.
My apologies. It's just a habit. Let's see here. Okay, I just sent it, so I might just take a minute.
Is Bart on the, oh, I don't see him. Is he not, no.
Did it come to you, Betty?
But he's on mute.
I have two Bettys on my phone, so I always have to make sure. All right, thank you very much. Okay. So if we could have a staff member to go over the materials that was received and what was inside all the materials that they collected. That's my request.
I also have that exact same request, so go ahead.
I'm not sure who's
Sean,
answering that.
You gonna be able to answer this?
So I can probably address some of this. I can't speak to to what we're looking at now. I have also made pictures of what was received in the Election Commission office. And I can tell you what was picked up by Bart and what happened with it after he picked it up.
Okay.
On the afternoon of January 28th, 2021, Amanda Dickens received a text message and a photograph from Commissioner Starr indicating that there was election.
Sean, could you speak up, please? You're very hard to hear.
You may have your volume down, but Ms. Dickens let Bart know around 2:30 that there was equipment at the 4-H center. So he went out there, and what he found was one DS200. I think in this picture you see it on the left, right behind those vote here signs. There was one express vote, 2 express poll books, and 1 box of cleaning supplies, as well as the table shields and the vote here signs. They were in a locked room within the CA Vines 4-H Center. All the materials appeared to Bart to be properly packed up as they are trained to do for pickup on election night. So this is what I took a picture of. This is what Bart left at our office. This is within the election department offices. And again, just for those who aren't familiar with what our equipment looks like packed up, the large black thing that looks like a trash can, that is the DS200. It is closed. All of the closures are locked, and there are no keys present. In the foreground, there looks like a big briefcase.
Sean,
Sorry.
we can't hear you.
I think there's a little, it froze for a minute. It says internet
You said
connection.
the last thing that I heard you say was for people who don't know what our equipment looks like packed up, and then it was nothing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, just the internet connection froze for a second.
Okay, so in the background, there's a big black thing that looks like a trash can. That's the DS200. It is sealed, and it's all of the closures that lock are still locked, and there's no keys present. In the foreground, there's a kind of a briefcase looking thing. That is the express vote. And that is packaged properly. I just took this picture, didn't really touch anything or open anything. The tags all read CA Vines 4-H Center. On the dolly, there are 2 black briefcases, and those are the express poll books. In the white carton, those are voting booths. In the black bin with the yellow top, that is all the COVID mitigation supplies, cleaning supplies, and then there's some signs and screens. Bart delivered that equipment to the election department office, where it remains behind locked doors in a controlled access building. This is pictures of the tags. That's on the express vote. The election equipment has no uncounted votes within them because all election media has been tallied and accounted for. This is the tag on the DS200. A visual inspection of the equipment indicates that proper procedure was followed by the poll workers. Those are your express vote tablets, express poll tablets. Proper procedure was followed by the poll workers when they packed all the equipment up, and all closures remain locked and there's no keys present. So there's also no evidence of any tampering. The county judge's office was notified that some election equipment was left at a polling location and has ordered an immediate inventory of all election equipment, and that is underway. And that's just a different view of all the same stuff. That's exactly where Bart left it when he dropped it off. I guess he dropped it off yesterday. Thank you, Betty.
So the box that I'm looking at on top of the COVID box, what is that box?
That contains between 4 and 6 voting booths, chloroplast voting booths.
No, the picture that I sent.
You talking about the white box?
The white box sitting on the tote
Right,
box with the yellow.
that's what I just described.
You said it was what?
It contains 4 to 6 chloroplast voting booths.
John, those are the shields, the screens, the privacy screens?
They are the privacy screens.
Okay, thank you. In fact, I think I can see that on the side. I can see the logo.
Are you present at the office? You can open that so we can see inside of that.
I am not present at the office.
It looks like a ballot box.
It is not a ballot box.
What were the loose pieces of paper?
Those look like just signs. There's also a manual that was there. That's just for poll worker use.
Were there any provisionals, complaint sheets, other types of materials left there?
Not that I'm aware of. All of that is turned in on election night. That's what is checked in to the area managers and brought to the election department on election night, along with the election media containing the votes.
So when is the equipment supposed to be picked up?
That different elections, it's different amounts of time. A big election, it can take in excess of 2 weeks to get all the equipment into back.
Was Ferndale one of the precincts that we were notified that nobody voted on election day?
Amanda may be able to answer that. I don't have that information with me.
No, there were 421 voters on election day.
Was the media removed from the equipment?
Yes, it was. That's how I was able to read it in.
How many provisional voters were at that precinct?
I
There
don't
were-
have that information.
Amanda,
There were none tabulated.
There were none tabulated.
That is correct.
Is that common?
Very.
And we're 100% sure there are no provisionals in any of those materials.
We will be opening that and inspecting it on Monday when we have 2 staff members present. And we will be able to, know more information about what's inside. There's no reason to believe there is anything. There's not. It would be very unusual for provisionals to be stuck in any of those containers that I'm looking at on the screen right now. I mean, very, very unusual.
It's also unusual that equipment's left there in January, and this is a few months after an election. This has been an unusual election. Is there a reason this wasn't done today?
Can you rephrase the question? I don't think I understand.
Is there a reason this wasn't already done today?
What he's referring to, this.
I believe she's referring to opening of the equipment.
An audit,
and doing an
basically.
Audit of these particular items.
I felt it was prudent to wait until there was more than one staff member present.
Was there no staff member available to come in today to do that kind of audit, considering the seriousness of what was obtained today?
No, not at the time that all of that was determined to be necessary.
Who made that determination, Sean?
I did. I didn't even know the equipment was back in the back room until after I talked to Bart at 1 o'clock.
At what time?
We started talking about 1, finished about 2.
I have a question, Sean. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering how is it that these weren't picked up? Obviously y'all weren't there, but what do we think was the reason why these weren't initially picked up?
We have already begun a thorough investigation of what actually occurred. This is something that, we want to look at every part of the process, from the poll workers to the facility to the area managers, the delivery pickup crews. We'll look at BART's inventory procedures. We're going to look at all of that and identify what the problem is. At this point, we simply don't know. I mean, we found out about this late yesterday. 24 hours is not long enough to conduct a thorough investigation.
Yeah, I just found out about this about an hour and a half before this meeting, actually. So just for clarification, you said a little bit there about the process. So a delivery and pickup crew is who picks up this equipment. Is that correct? So not the poll workers.
That is correct. The equipment is packed. The equipment is packed up the way you see it. You can see that on the briefcases that are sitting on the table, there's some blue seals. It looks to me like they were conscientious poll workers. So this equipment was placed in the room where it was found today. It was placed there on election night, and it remained there until it was picked up by BART today.
Okay, thank you. So normally, just to follow up, normally the pickup and delivery crew would come in, pick up all this equipment, and then take it to the warehouse, I presume.
So the normal process is that, yes, and I misspoke earlier. BART picked this up yesterday, not today. So after an election, BART would give a list of the different facilities to his drivers. He would deploy a number of trucks, depending on how many people he had to utilize. They would go to their assigned polling locations, pick up all of basically the things you see there, the election equipment, the electronic poll books, and any supplies that were not brought back on election night. And that's basically what you see. And so that, just doing the math on it, if you've got 2 trucks out and they can only go to, maybe 10 places a day each truck, which I think it's 8 places. I don't know exactly how many, between 8 and 10 polling locations each truck. It takes quite a long time, and the trucks fill up quickly. And but that is done by BART's crews. It is not done by BART alone.
So the
Thank you.
checklist, I'm sorry, Commissioner Price, were you done?
I was just saying thank you for the clarification. Go ahead.
So the checklist for all these materials, is this something that's kept, where is this checklist kept? Is it something that's kept on a shared drive for the staff? Is it just a printed sheet that someone signs off when everything is brought back and they initial at the time of the day? I mean, what exactly is that process?
I am not familiar with that particular process. BART has those forms, and the drivers have a checklist. I do not have a copy of that right now. That's one of the things that will be part of the investigation on an ongoing basis.
So this process is not on our OneDrive that is supposed to be available to the commissioners?
I don't know if it is or not.
Madam Chair, I have a question for the person that sent us the photo.
Sure.
Is it a proper?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one item we have today. Go ahead.
Ms. Matheny, If you don't mind, how did you come to observe to get the photo?
To essentially,
Okay. How did that person get the photo?
they observed it in person.
In person, so they had access to the room?
Yes,
Okay. Does this person use the facility? How does this person have access to that
well, you
facility?
know that the 4-H is open. And there's meetings there, I've been to many meetings out there and stuff. So you can go in and visit and check in and get materials or have conferences or whatever, so.
The 4-H Center is a community
Yes,
meeting place in Ferndale.
Yes, the call has had many meetings out there that I'm involved with them,
Do you know if it was do you know if the room was locked?
not to my knowledge.
I have a question. If this if the 4-H club is open, and this may just be a rhetorical question, but if it was open and folks have been in and out, why is this the first time that we've been alerted to this? Or has anybody not seen this equipment and thought, hey, we should probably call the election commission and tell somebody?
Might be the first time they've had a meeting there since that period of
COVID.
time. Correct.
So there's not a lot of traffic currently with COVID. Normally there would be a lot of traffic in and out there, but
That's Representative Brooks speaking.
it's still open every day to, you know.
I think I want to say that's the facility that even the state uses for some events.
The party uses it, the state uses it, Foster, the people who foster, that oversee DHS, that type of thing, but like I said, the call, they use it, so, yes.
Who is our contact for that facility? Sean?
I don't have that name right now.
Could you get it?
Sure.
Has anyone reached out to the facility, to the person on that contact?
I mean, Bart talked to the secretary at the 4-H center because this room is directly behind the secretary's desk. And, you know, she said that they don't use that room except, you know, in exceptional circumstances. It's been locked ever since election night, as far as she knows.
But it wasn't locked if somebody was able to meander in and take a photo.
Did you have anything else?
If I may. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Starr.
Oh, I was just asking Ms. Smithany if
Price.
she had anything else.
Go ahead, Price.
I was going to ask Sean, so obviously I mean, I'll admit it's not a good thing to leave behind equipment. So we definitely need to figure out why it got left behind and how we can remedy that from happening in the future. But as far as the materials that are left behind, was there any, I mean, is there anything in there that is sensitive? I mean, obviously we don't want anyone tampering with our machinery, but you said it was all locked up. Do you feel confident that nothing was tampered with? Are you still conducting that investigation? And was there anything that was, I mean, there were no votes or ballots or anything like that in there, right? You said it was cleaning supplies and some of the materials that they used to set up the space, correct?
Right. So, first of all, I mean, for those people who have done elections for a long time, you'll know that the election equipment is delivered. It's not delivered like at 7:30 a.m. right before polls open. It's delivered a week, 2 weeks in advance of when polls open. So it is routine, in fact, necessary, essential, that we be able to leave election equipment ready to conduct an election at a facility. This equipment was left in that exact same manner as we would leave it prior to an election, or as it would sit, in this case, after an election, waiting to be picked up. This was not sitting out in the rain. It was not in a public place that could be easily accessed. Those are all agreements that we reach with our polling places. It is absolutely not desirable for election equipment to stay out in the field for longer than necessary. Now, to your other question, which is there anything sensitive here? I don't think so. If everything is as it appears to be, the poll tablets are sealed, so that's not an issue. The express vote is essentially a very large square electronic pencil. It does nothing. It doesn't tabulate votes, anything like that, without programming. The big trash can looking thing, the DS200, is a ballot tabulator, but only if it contains the election programming, and what you see on the screen does not contain any election program, because that election programming was brought back on election night, and the votes that are contained on the same drive with the programming, those votes were tabulated, as Amanda alluded to earlier. So
there's no sensitive in these machines that could have been accessed by anyone through tampering. That's my question.
No. The only thing is, I mean, these are just big machines that cannot do anything because they don't have any programming in them. They can't do anything at all.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
It's just something to remember, Commissioner Price, for those who've been around elections for a long time, as Sean has said, there has been issues in the past with materials being left at a polling site that were actually things like provisionals, complaint forms, other types of forms that are left, just like when we got other pieces of materials that were mixed in with other boxes when election materials are brought back. So we do not know if any other materials were left at the site. That's the issue at hand, other than the fact that we left incredibly expensive equipment at a polling site that's open to the public for almost 3 months.
Absolutely, and that's why I think it's important that we do that investigation and get to the bottom of why was it left behind. But as far as like any immediate concerns, I'm just trying to see if any sensitive material could have been leaked or exposed.
The immediate concern would be, were there any ballots left at that site? Were there any provisionals left at that site? Were any complaint forms left at that site that would have not been processed due to the time of the certification, so it'd be too late? So that's my number one concern right now, and we don't have that information despite this being brought back last night. To me, that is the most important piece that I wanted to know today, and I made that very clear last night too. I wanted to know that immediately. I made it again clear this morning. Please let me know as soon as possible what is in there. Are there any materials, such as, ballots, anything? To me, that was the most important piece.
And just to be clear, there were no inquiries made to me at all. So I don't know who Commissioner Starr was communicating with, but I mean, any election related things, it seems like would go to the head of the office, so that I could then ask the appropriate person who's responsible for those things to investigate it. But I didn't have any such request from Commissioner Starr or any other commissioner.
I don't have to make a request to you, Sean. And I know you were notified about this morning around 7 something this morning, because I spoke to Amanda and I was provided, after she spoke with you at 7:57 this morning, and then she sent me a text at 8:12 this morning that Sean informed me that all inquiries from commissioners, because I asked her to find out exactly what was with all this stuff in this picture. And she said, Sean informed me that all inquiries from commissioners need to go through him until Brian is back, which I don't know what that means. His number is 340-8904. Thank you. And that was at 8:12 a.m. So I do know she notified you. And then I was at work at that point. So multiple people were notified.
Well, then here, I'll read the email I sent to you, Sean, at, okay, I'll pick one of the emails I sent to you. How about this one at 2:24 p.m. Sean, please have the staff bring them to the meeting tonight. Any election materials recently obtained from Ferndale. Commissioners will need an inventory and account of everything found, as well as how it is currently being secured and who has handled the election materials. This would need to be done in person, so we could see it. I was seeing then John, let's see, Campbell responded. And then I replied, Mr. Campbell replied just to me, but I responded and I included all the staff. Betty, sorry you were not included on that. But I said, Sean et al., this is at 3:17 p.m. today. Where are the materials currently which were found in Ferndale? Please provide the commissioners with an account of what occurred for tonight's meeting. The commissioners need to see the materials found. And then again, I said this should be brought to the meeting so we can see them. So there's at least that communication beyond what Sean was told this morning.
Well, there were several pieces of communication.
As I said earlier, no one communicated to me that you were looking for specific things. I didn't see the last email from Commissioner Gomez, but I was putting together, I just read you what was there. You had the picture. You had more information than I did, Commissioner Starr. So I mean, I didn't even know where the equipment was until after I talked to Bart this afternoon. So if you want information, you can contact me. You've got my phone number and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I do now, but I will say, Sean, that you, in the past, you have not been responsive to my emails at all, and you have not replied to my emails. When I send you an email, you do not reply to my emails. So I will contact those who will answer and respond quickly, because typically my timeline is pretty fast. So I ask that you, when I send you a request, that you are responsive to those requests in the future to make things easier. That's
Agreed. And just to be clear, there's only one person who can speak for the election department at any given time, and that's either the director or the acting director. So if you ask information from someone else, you may not get the correct information.
You talking about the staff that work for the county? Sean? You're on mute.
The question.
Were you referring to the staff that work for the county?
I mean, if there's something, if you need information from the election department, I mean, the best way to get it is to ask the director or the acting director, and then I can find that information out. Because I know things that are going on that maybe other staff members are not aware of. Well,
that sounds like a lot of red tape to me. I go to the people who are doing the job. So if somebody, like for example, Jody takes care of the website, why would I go to Sean to ask something for Jody that I can ask Jody for? When like multiple questions we've asked you, you said you don't know, you don't know, you don't know. Bart knows that. So it's sometimes better to go to the source of information instead of go to one person who's going to ask the other people how to get that information. It takes a little bit longer and it's not very efficient. Efficiency is very important when we're talking about the things that we're talking about. I definitely will come to you, but it's very important that you are timely in your responses. That's all I'm requesting. You provided me with I believe a work desk phone number, but I need a cell phone number for you. Thank you. That's
So
all.
Sean, what is the next step? I mean, you mentioned an investigation, and my apologies if my line of questioning seems redundant. Again, I just found out about the situation about 3:30 p.m. today when I was actually contacted by the media, who asked me if I knew anything about it, which I did not. So what is the next step as far as figuring out what happened with this box, looking at the inside of the box, and doing a more thorough investigation of the contents?
Thank you for the question. So the investigation has begun. I've been talking to a variety of the staff members to find out, any knowledge that they may have. I've talked to Bart. We will take some time to develop a proper methodology for conducting the investigation. Right now, the most important thing is that we conduct a complete inventory. That has begun. Bart began that process, I believe yesterday, with some of the DS200s. I mean, he did a preliminary inventory on election night, but he's doing an in-depth inventory and matching the barcoded tags on there, the county identifying tags, with his inventory list. And that will continue. That will likely take several days because there is a lot of equipment. Jody will also need to inventory his tablets. And then after that, we'll look, as a total office, at the procedures that were in place at the time of the election and the personnel that was in place and who, what the roles and responsibilities were. And then we'll evaluate all of that. And then that's part one. Part two will then be to develop strategies, procedures, checklists, things like that, that can resolve any deficiencies that we find, so that these kind of situations don't come up again. So it's kind of a three-part situation. First is inventory. Second is to identify where the problems really were, and then to come up with strategies to prevent them from happening again.
Okay, thank you, because we definitely don't want this to happen again.
Agreed.
Those are excellent questions, Commissioner Price. I like responsible for the machines. And so when you're coming up with these plans and processes and everything else, you need to make sure the commission is included on that and that we're involved in that process. I hear a lot of we, but I don't think you're considering the we as in the commission. It's very important that we're a part of that, because at the end of the day, it's the commission that is responsible statutorily for those machines. Also, what is the timeline, your estimated timeline for this investigation?
At this point, I don't have an estimated timeline. We know that inventory will take the bulk of next week because we have some staff members on leave for a variety of reasons. So it will likely take several weeks to complete the process.
What is your estimated timeline for finding out exactly what materials were left behind?
We'll know that on Monday morning.
Okay. And you will contact the commission on Monday morning, and what was it left behind?
Sure, I'd be happy to. In fact, I will be happy to take a lot of photographs at different stages as we open things up.
Don't just take photos. You should take photos. You should. It needs to be live streamed.
I think transparency is really important because, anytime we have something left behind in the polling site, there's going to be questions, and we do not want to cast any further doubt with the issues that we've had in this election. So the more transparency, the better.
What time on Monday is going to take place?
Probably right around sometime between 8 and 9. It's once Bart and I are both present there, then we'll go ahead and do that. He's getting some materials ready for the inventory, so sometime in that time frame.
Star? Is Sean the best person to be the second person there in the event there are materials found?
I think we need to have 3 staff members.
I
Anytime you
agree.
have an audit, for any kind of audit, you should have 3 staff
You
members.
shouldn't have just 2 people.
No.
You have at least 3 people.
Mhm.
And it needs to be live streamed.
I would like that live streamed. Thoughts on that, Commissioner Price, on live streaming that?
No, I
Just
think
to
that's good.
kind of, show that we're being 100% transparent.
Yes, I think that's consistent with what we've been doing throughout this process, throughout the election process. We've live streamed all of our processes, so why not this?
I like it.
Just a technical issue. If you want it live streamed, then it will be the following Monday when the IT guy who's capable of doing that gets back in the office.
Is
Why can't you do what we're doing here and put it on a YouTube channel, like we're streaming live right now?
We can attempt that. I don't have that technical knowledge. I don't know if Betty does or not, but we can certainly attempt it.
I think it's a good time to learn and always have more than one person that knows how to do something. So,
Cross training would be
yeah,
great.
that was, thank you. I was trying to think of the term and I couldn't come up with it. It's been a long week.
No, you need 3, we need 3 people, at least 3 staff members present. That needs to be live streamed. And we have capability. There's really no excuse not to do it.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Price, anything else?
No, I have no further questions and nothing else to add. I will say that the media call I got, though, was a little bit concerning because there was already some misinformation. The media told me that they had heard that it was a box of uncounted ballots.
That's what I was told. I was told that same thing.
What media contacted you and how did they know anything?
It was Channel 11, and they said they had actually heard from Commissioner Gomez.
I was told, I did talk to some of Channel 11 because I was told there was a box of ballots found. I tried to get information from the staff. And I said, we're going to find out what actually happened at the meeting tonight, but this is what I was told. I'm trying to find out and get clarification, but I had no idea what was found. I just heard that I was informed there was a box of ballots found in Ferndale. And I was concerned about that. And I did happen to have a occasion to speak with someone at Channel 11. I said, yeah, you should tune into our meeting. I'm not sure what's going on, but I was told there's a box of ballots and I can't get a better answer from the staff regarding what was found.
They didn't publish that, did they?
No.
Okay.
I told them I didn't know because I'm going to find out at the meeting.
I told them to wait on that and attend the meeting and make sure we fact check that before they post anything.
Good. Thank you. I was wondering, like, how in the world the media already know that or hear that?
No, I just had an occasion where happened to be able to have a contact. And I mentioned this might be newsworthy. You might be interested in what goes on in our meeting tonight.
Congratulations, Commissioner Price, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
And Chair Gomez, congratulations on your new position.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'll actually be able to speak to her again outside
Yes.
of this area.
Great. After the 5th, we're gonna actually be able to
Talk.
talk. It's gonna be wonderful.
It's very difficult.
Well, if there's nothing further from any of the other commissioners, I do have one more thing. At our last meeting, we voted to decertify Mr. Poe, but we did not discuss about reducing that to writing. And so I propose that be done so that it's clear. I know we had, just so it's clear for everyone as to.
Could you clarify what you mean?
Reduce what the user certification means and have a actual document of laying out what that means.
Could you prepare that?
I can't prepare that.
Okay.
In fact, I was in the process of preparing that. I was going to present it at the next meeting to the commissioners. And I would have had it done today had I had any morning registered about this today about an issue. Otherwise, I would have had it done today and presented it with you, but I don't have it with me.
Okay.
But I'm happy to tackle that, just so there's a record and give it in writing. I think would be a good idea.
So just to clarify, no, there hasn't been any documentation or any correspondence regarding Mr. Poe's decertification that's been sent yet to the county judge, his supervisor?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Is that a requirement?
Not that I'm aware of, but
There's nothing in the law regarding
no.
decertification. It's just a removal of duties, so it's kind of
It's
complicated.
It's not that
I mean, not complicated. It's not outlined. Is I guess the word I was using for it.
But,
I didn't know, I wasn't sure what the proper HR policy was that.
There's no.
It's not an HR
It's not an HR policy because it's not an HR issue.
because at the request of, we had a full worker that Colonel House requested to be decertified, so it free up and he ended up not working on this election for various reasons. He requested to be decertified, and we just voted, and we didn't provide him with any writing saying congratulations, you're decertified. But however,
Well, I mean,
there's
that's a
lot of
little
questions.
different. His main job, whereas for Mr. Poe, that is his main job duty. So I wasn't sure if communication had taken place between the commission and the county
Well, we
regarding
don't
that.
know what his job duties are because we are not his supervisor and we don't have access to his job duties. But I'm assuming it has something that says as other duties as assigned. And that covers anything else that he could be doing as an employee. Any employee can be moved to other positions within under the same business area, and it's not an HR issue.
Not at all. However, I just thought that would be.
I think that's proper to have something written down.
So I
Right.
would be happy to get that. I just had outlined something, but I have not fully fleshed out. That I can get that done to the commissioners before the 5th, which is barring any other surprise happenings, will be our next meeting.
Okay.
Well, there's no other business.
No other business.
Do we have any public comment? Because we have some public here with us. Anyone would like to give comment? Representative, do you have? I know you were interested because this was your district.
That's my district. I will answer to my constituents, make sure that their votes count and are secured.
And if we can share Mr. Camp's contact information with Representative Brooks, I think that would be very advantageous since he has that stewardship over the fine people of Pulaski County in his district. Then he'll have having that access for Representative Brooks, I think, is paramount, especially since we're going to look into these things. One more thing. There was a document that Mr. Poe was supposed to have kept up in. However, I'm not sure if he has, because I haven't seen it. But, and Commissioner Price knows about this because he and I started on the commission at the same time. There was, I believe it was called Lessons Learned. Remember what that document was called?
Lessons learned, I believe.
Lessons Learned. And we had asked Mr. Poe to continue that. And we wanted to have that for this cycle as well. So we need that same document for the commission. It needs to be something by the 5th, so that the new commissioners for this new term will be able to have that and review and go through all the elections that happened, the problems that we've had, how we have fixed those problems. I haven't seen that document, but we need to have that. So I am formally requesting staff to get that prepared, and it should be easy because Mr. Poe was given the direction to keep that up every time we have a special election or an event. So I believe it should be already pretty much done. If we've been keeping up on it, it shouldn't be a problem.
So I'll make a motion to have the lessons learned document ready for our February 5th, 2021 meeting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry. It's hard to get used to the no seconds, Commissioner Price.
Any opposed?
No, there's no opposed.
Well, I didn't hear Price. Price, did you vote? Did you say?
He did. He
Oh,
voted.
sorry. I didn't. We can talk at the same time.
Yes,
Okay,
we did.
So we're gonna have that at the next meeting. So just for the commissioners, so we can finish up all of our outstanding business. We're gonna have all of our meeting minutes are gonna be ready and reviewed. I'm gonna produce a writing, the decertification of Mr. Poe. I'm gonna outline what that means, so we have something in writing. And the staff is going to present the lessons learned memo following that same, well, please make a better format than we had in 2019. An improved format, but the same type of information for all of the elections and our processes from 2019 to 2020. So when the commission gets sworn in for this next term, they can hit the ground running and we cannot make the same mistakes twice. And anything else for the good of the commission?
As well as we're bringing all the bullet points from the election and the depositions, Commissioner Price, any issues to the February 5th meeting.
Okay, is that the staff is doing that, or is the
We are
commission?
doing that. Yes.
Would you like to spearhead it?
I mean, we're all supposed to be doing that.
I'm just wondering.
Any issues from the complaints, issues that we know of, anything else that came up
Oh, and just for everyone's
in case we
information,
have to forward.
I spoke to the state board, have inquired as to what's going on with various complaints and things that were happening, and they had things they had heard about. And the timeline I was given, soon they're going to address that with the commission. I believe in the next month or so, they're going to try to get those addressed and get those done as soon as possible. So stay tuned. The state board's going to reach out as they complete these reviews. I think that's all that I have today.
I have a question for you all.
Yes,
I need your permission to do your timesheet.
you have my permission, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions or concerns? Anything out there? Okay, then we are adjourned until 5 p.m. on February 5th. We'll be meeting at the Old Spring Courtroom in the state capitol, and we'll be swearing. The main headline of business is swearing in our new commissioners for this next term, and then we have a couple bits of business that we're going to clean up, and so the next commission can hit the ground running.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank y'all.
we are adjourned until next time.